Good morning. It is with great pleasure that on behalf of the search team, I introduce our candidate for lead minister, the Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Stevens. Let's give her a very warm welcome.
Well, good morning. I am deeply honored and so excited to be with you this week. Your search committee has worked really hard and faithfully to get us to this point where I get to meet you, you get to meet me, and we decide together whether I'm the right person to become your lead minister. It's a big deal. So thank you for being here this morning and for engaging in the discernment process in whatever ways make sense for you. Welcome to this place, this space, this time. If you're joining us from home, we welcome you as well. My dearest hope is that this is the beginning of a beautiful journey together, and it's in that spirit that I offer these words, excerpted from For the Traveler by John O'Donohue. A journey can become a sacred thing. Make sure before you go to take the time to bless your going forth, to free your heart of ballast, so that the compass of your soul might direct you toward the territories of spirit where you will discover more of your hidden life and the urgencies that deserve to claim you. May you travel in an awakened way, gathered wisely into your inner ground, that you may not waste the invitations which wait along the way to transform you. May we move through this journey of discernment with our hearts and minds open. May we find moments of connection and potential. Come, let us worship together.
Hush the deafening anguish of
Wow. Today, Bill and Denise McMillan will lead our chalice lighting.
Good morning. The flaming chalice is the symbol of Unitarian Universalist tradition, the liberal religious tradition to which this congregation belongs. Will those of you here in person please stand as you're able for our chalice lighting? If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it with me at this time. As we kindle this flame, we recommit ourselves to nurturing the spirits of one another and the common good of the world we share. May the light of this flame be welcoming to all who seek a liberal religious home.
For those of you already standing, I invite you to remain standing for our opening hymn. It's number 1007, There's a River. Good morning. My name is Becky Elliott, she, her, and I'm glad to serve as part of your worship team this morning. Whether you are a first-time visitor or a long-time member, I offer you a very special welcome. Here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh, we are intentionally inclusive, liberally religious, and actively serving the common good of our shared world. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on your own religious journey, you are welcome here. This morning, one of our lay ministers will be available in the front right corner of the sanctuary, right over here, after the service, to talk with anyone who might be experiencing any difficult circumstances in their lives and would just like to talk with someone. I hope all of you will read through the chalice you received by email on Friday about everything happening here at UUFR, or check out the upcoming events section of our website. Our in-person social hour this morning will be downstairs in Founders Hall. I now invite you to meet and greet your neighbor.
So we are going to have a little time for all ages today, and this is a bit of an interactive project, so I'm going to need some help. We're going to make some soup, and I need some help to make soup with me. Maybe some smaller helpers would be willing to come and give me a hand. Now, why, you might be asking, why would we want to make soup? One of the things that I like to do is I like to play with words. And the root word for the word minister is a word called ministrare. And ministrare means to serve. And it also is the root word for a kind of soup. Can you guess what kind of soup it is? Oh, the grown-ups know. Minestrone. So we are going to make a pot of minister soup, okay? So what I need from you are ideas for things that you might want to go into a minister. Like, what do you think belongs in a minister? Yes? Okay, so we could talk about food, tomatoes and carrots and onions and garlic, but I'm asking you to sort of think about a minister. Do you know what a minister is and what a minister does? No? Okay, well, we'll have to work on that then. So a minister is somebody who serves and loves in a liberal religious community like this. So that's hopefully going to be my job in a little while. And what I'm wanting to know is what you all are hoping for in terms of what I can do to serve you, what I can do to help and support and love you. So what are characteristics of a person that would make sense to go into a pot of minister soup or into a minister? Yes. Kindness. That's very important. Okay. I'm writing as fast as I can. So we actually are going to make some soup. Let's see, we'll put kindness on the corn. That's a banana?
Yeah. Banana! I want to be corn.
Okay, so you said kindness. Would you like to go ahead and put kindness in our big soup pot? Okay, yes. Love. Oh, that's a very, very important one. Okay, so let's see, we'll put that on. We maybe are having some fruit soup, because I think this is an orange. All right, do you want to go ahead and put that in our soup pot? Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, what else? Hope. Oh, you guys are really good at this. Really good person chefs. Yes. Helpful. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, okay, now we're finally getting some vegetables. We're going to put helpful on a mushroom. Do you want to go ahead and put that in the pot? And here's a tomato. Who is my hope? You want to go ahead and put some hope in? Tomato. Okay, what else? Yes? Say that again.
Show respect.
Show respect. Oh, you guys are great. Okay. Here you go. Pepper. All right. Yes?
Gratefulness.
Gratefulness. Okay. Uh-oh, we're running out of vegetables. We're going to have to do pretend ones. Yes?
Grateful.
All right, we just did gratefulness. So you want to pretend and put gratefulness in too? Yeah. And yes? Honesty. Oh, such an important one. Such an important one. Okay. Here we go. Oops. Oops. Now we get the corn. Okay. All right, so that's it for actual pretend ingredients. So we're going to have to use our imagination for other ingredients. Is that okay? Okay. All right. Yes. Nice words. All right. Can you pretend to put some nice words in the pot? Yes.
Generosity.
Generosity. Oh, that's a very good one. Can you pretend to put some generosity in the pot? How about you? Caring. You want to put some of that in the pot? Loving. Okay. We'll put that in the pot. You want to put some in the pot? How about?
Be responsible.
To be responsible. Very good one. Okay. Oh, we have one more? Caring about other people. Okay, so then it's time to cook our soup up. Would you help me with the cook fire? Okay. So go ahead and put the cook fire down at the bottom of the pot. That's the flame of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And it's going to cook up a big pot of minister soup. Okay? Thank you. You guys are fantastic chefs. I think this is going to be delicious. And now I think it's time for you to head off to your classes.
To give instructions. If you could wait with your families, go back to your seats for a moment so that I can explain where everyone is going to go after we sing Go Now in Peace. So in a moment, after we start singing, I will have Sunshine Circle. You will go over to that corner. That is our preschool and kindergartners. They will be, if you see Ozzy with the gorgeous sunshine banner, it'll be right over there. If you are in 1st through 5th grade, in just a moment, you will find the banner with your grade and you will line up behind it over in that corner. And finally, if you are in 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, you will go over and join Catherine and Jennifer right next to the sunshine banner to go down to the teen cave. Lastly, if you are a parent of a 5th grader and younger and you have not yet signed your child out, but they are about to leave the sanctuary, please follow them so you can sign them in so that we have safety for everyone involved. Would you guys all join me now in singing Go Now in Peace?
Good morning. My name is Sarah Ford Knorr, and I am a member of your board of directors. I will be downstairs during social hour if you have any questions, concerns to bring to the board, or just want to say hi. I also have a special announcement, which is that the board will hold a special congregational meeting next Sunday, April 26, for a congregational vote on whether to call Elizabeth Stevens to be our next settled minister. The meeting will take place at 12:45 after the second service, and it must be attended by a quorum of at least 130 members to take place. We hope we'll have many more. Those attending the first service will also have an opportunity to cast ballots, and if you are not going to be here at all next week, you may vote absentee as a member today. Look downstairs right outside of Founders Hall. There's a table there. Everything we do here at UUFR is only possible because of the generous financial support that all of us provide. So if you send a check to the office every month or you've set up automated giving, the board would like to thank you now for your generosity. If you would like to make a contribution in person this morning, I invite you to bring it up during the offertory and place it in one of our plates here. You can also give using any of the methods on the screen. Our offering will now be taken and gratefully received. Thank you.
This is the time in our service when we acknowledge some of the joys and some of the sorrows of this community. We do this because we believe a joy shared is a joy made even greater, and a sorrow shared is made easier to bear. Linda Watson shares her sorrow at the death of her Aunt Mildred Ann Holder, who passed away yesterday at the age of 97. She is the last of Linda's parents' generation, so now her generation is truly the elder one. Linda, we share our love and care with you and your family in this difficult time. Crystal shares her sorrow in the death of Jesse Bennett, who was a true champion of harm reduction and a hero to many in North Carolina. Jesse will be missed, but the impression he has made on others, mental behavioral health services, and the spirit of recovery in our state will last forever. May we hope that his spirit, energy, and commitment carry on in all those he loved and those continuing in the field of mental and behavioral health, all that he impacted. Connie Baker asks for prayers and healing energies for her best friend of almost 50 years, Chris Kaplan. Sharing the same age as Connie, Chris has just been diagnosed with calcification of the aorta, an enlarged heart, and possible congestive heart failure. May we hold Connie, Chris, and all of Chris's loved ones in our hearts. Carl and Ben Rogers share their joy that their mother's house, Linda Rogers' house, has been sold. Thanks to Becky Harper, they could not have done it without her. They are very grateful. Stephen Thompson shares his joy that he is starting a new job at the Museum of the Cape Fear in Fayetteville. And may we all be grateful that he and Katie will not be moving. Zane Patorti shares his joy that he will be moving to Washington, D.C. at the end of this month. He will be working as a data scientist consulting for Veterans Affairs, finding the best ways to deliver health care to veterans. Congratulations to Zane. We will miss you, but we are also very happy for you and send our good wishes for your new adventure. As we hold these shared joys and sorrows in our hearts, and as we reflect on the joys and sorrows, hopes and fears of our own lives, let us be together in stillness and in silence, opening ourselves to that spirit within us and amidst us, called by many names and known to every human heart, that leads us to a fuller and deeper and richer experience of life. After the silence, we will sing together hymn 391, Voice Still and Small. But for now, let's be together in stillness and in silence. Our reading this morning is Calling by Nancy Schaffer. When you heard that voice and knew finally it called for you and what it was saying, where were you? Were you in the shower, wet and soapy, or chopping cabbage late for dinner? Were you planting radish seeds or seeking one lost sock? Maybe wiping handprints off a window, or coaxing words into a sentence, or coming upon a hyacinth, or one last no. Where were you when you heard that ancient voice? And did yes get born right then? And did you weep? Had it called you since before you even were? And when you knew that, did your joy escape all holding? Where were you when you heard that calling voice? And how, in that moment, did you mark it? How, ever after, are you changed? Tell us, please, all you can about that voice. Tell us how to listen, how to hear. Teach us all you can of saying yes.
When we are
Thank you so much. And thank you for sticking it out through the beginning of the second service so you could sing it both. So when we're singing, our heartbeats might synchronize, but when we're speaking, it's a little bit trickier, right? Communication is a funny thing. Language is a funny thing, especially at moments like this when we don't necessarily know each other that well yet. Communication, I find, works a little like the game of telephone or operator. Have you played that, where you all line up and, somebody whispers something who can say, operator, and then it gets passed along the line and winds up being something completely different? Well, communication works like this. There's what's in my heart, and then there's what actually comes out of my mouth. There's something that happens in the air between us, and then there's what goes into your ear, and then there's what actually makes it to your heart. It can get complicated, so I want to move with care and to begin by defining what I mean when I say the words theology and call. Now, as you can tell from the Time for All Ages, I like to go to the roots of a word to understand its meaning, and if necessary, sort of wiggle my way to a definition that works for me and hopefully has enough space for all of us. Theology comes from theos, meaning God, and logos, meaning words. So words about God, which isn't a particularly helpful place to start if God isn't a word that a person likes to use. And in Unitarian Universalist congregations, there's usually at least a few people who fall into that category. So we need to open up the definition and make space. Now, no matter how rigorously a person stays away from supernatural ideas or traditional religious language, we all construct meaning by telling stories and choosing beliefs. I have been a Unitarian Universalist my whole life, and along the way, I've talked with a lot of people who identify as atheists or secular humanists, people who sometimes have a bad case of what we call cross cringe, like the guy who sent me an angry email because I preached about Jesus on Easter. So here's what I have discovered. Even the crustiest of crusty humanists has to take the raw data of life and arrange it in a way that makes sense to them. We humans are inherently meaning-making creatures. So when I use the word theology, what I mean is the entire structure of stories, beliefs, and frameworks that you create, that we create for ourselves so that we can stay relatively sane and somewhat hopeful and functional in this world. As for call, the root of the word call means to cry out or to summon. Today we're reflecting on call with a capital C. And again, belief in a deity is optional, so we have to ask ourselves what might be calling to us, what might be summoning us. Maybe it's life, maybe it's love, maybe it's our own potential. Another word for call, capital C, is vocation. And Frederick Buechner defines vocation this way. Vocation is the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. The place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. Now, we've actually come a long way in our understanding of vocation. It wasn't so long ago, maybe a few hundred years, that people's vocation was limited or even determined by their social location. If you were born a noble, you stayed noble. If you were born a peasant, you stayed a peasant. If your father was a blacksmith, you could be expected to become a blacksmith, unless you were born into a female body, or to enslaved parents, in which case you were considered property and had very little say in who you might become or how your life might unfold. It's really only been a few decades that we've been more free to choose our own path. My mother talks about how when she was growing up, She knew she had basically 3 choices as far as her professional life. She could be a teacher, a nurse, or a secretary. My generation, Generation X, is the first to grow up after the second wave of feminism and the civil rights movement. And we were taught that we could be whatever we wanted to be when we grew up. It wasn't entirely true. There were still many, many biases and barriers baked into the system. And also, if you paid attention to the small print, it had some disclaimers that were real doozies. Yes, you could be whatever you want to be, but you will also be responsible for the majority of the housework and childcare and pretty much all of the emotional labor should you choose to have a family with a man. Good luck, ladies. And don't get me started on the barriers created by other more pernicious forms of oppression. Now, to be clear, I am not complaining. I have had a rich, full, and joyous life thus far, and I have very few regrets. I love my job. And I have a really fun call story. So, when I was in college, I majored in history with a concentration on Soviet and East European studies. This was back in the early 90s, glasnost and perestroika and the breaking open of the Soviet bloc. Fascinating stuff. But I graduated without a clear sense of what I wanted to be when I grew up. I thought maybe a teacher. So I went and taught English in Moscow, Russia, which was an amazing experience, but I realized I really don't have the stamina to be a teacher. Teaching is incredibly hard work. Teachers are my heroes. We should pay them a lot more. Anyway, so I realized I wasn't strong enough to be a teacher. I thought maybe I'd go into the Foreign Service. But I was on my 3rd round of interviews with them when there was this moment when I realized that I'm quite unsuited to being trapped in a bureaucratic chain of command. You can ask me more about that later if you're interested. I tried my hand at journalism. I worked as an applications programmer for a software company for a while, but nothing felt right. Nothing felt joyful. And then one day, walking around Walden Pond, which is the perfect place for a Unitarian Universalist to have an epiphany, my then husband asked me the question that changed everything. He said, "Well, what do you like to do?" You know, it had never occurred to me to ask that question. I'd thought about what I'd be good at, what paid well, what I was qualified for, what was interesting even, but never what I actually enjoy. My mind was blown. And so I answered honestly. Well, I love to write and read and think. I like to feel like I'm helping people. You know what I really love, though? I love sitting around with people BSing. And I came around the corner and the light broke through the trees and I knew that I wanted to become a minister. And I still remember the feeling that settled over me in that moment. There was a sense of peace, of knowing, of rightness. There was a deep yes that just settled into my bones. Have you ever had that feeling? Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm seeing a few nods. It has been nearly 30 years since that day by Walden Pond, and while my understanding of ministry has definitely become a lot more nuanced and complex, that feeling of rightness, that yes in my bones, it is still there. It was there when I clicked on the button saying that I might want to apply for your lead minister position. It was there when I met and interviewed with your search committee, and I feel it now in this moment. But ministry is a profoundly relational path, which means it's not enough for me to feel called here. You need to feel the answering yes. Only the congregation has the power and authority to call the minister. So that's your task, that's your job this week. Over the course of the week, you'll need to explore whether I'm the right fit for this community. Can I support the collective you in the ways that are needed to more fully live into your calling in the world? Now, in your discernment, I'd like to invite you to pay special attention to joy and to intuition. Now, I'm a big fan of Adrienne Marie Brown, and I believe with her that this historical time is calling forth from us a different way of working for a better future. Rather than the leader being out front, Brown talks about murmurations of starling and schools of fish, the way they morph and dance and move over time. No creature has to stay on the edge for long. No hero is out front guiding the way, and the whole is more than the sum of its parts. How do they do that? Well, starlings sense the birds next to them and chart their course based on where they fit, where there's a space for them. Fish, meanwhile, have a special organ called the lateral line that helps them sense pressure changes in the water. So, relationship and intuition. There's some mystery to all of this, how they're able to do it, but I think it's reasonable to assume that we humans might have the capacity to be in moving formation with one another, just like the starlings and the fish. After all, starling brains only weigh a couple of grams, and fish brains are the size of a grain of rice, and we co-evolved for over 100 million years before our ancestral lines began to branch. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that somewhere in these gigantic brains that we schlep around, we might have some vestigial structures. Or maybe it's just time to evolve some new ones. In any event, I feel it. When I tend to my network of relationships and also listen to my own sense of call, I can figure out what's mine to do here and now. Not the big picture, not the end game, but the next right thing, the next most loving thing. In these chaotic times where the forces of greed and hatred are employing a very deliberate strategy to flood the zone, to keep us all overwhelmed and off balance and unable to act, that clarity about the next right thing becomes a lifeline. Now, as far as the specific task of group discernment that's in front of you this week, I also want to name that ministry rests on trust. A minister is someone you trust to bear witness to the truth of who you are, someone you trust to stay, to love you unconditionally, even the parts of you that are hidden or painful. And some people trust easily, giving the benefit of the doubt right from the get-go. Other people take a while, and that's okay. There's a woman in the church I've been serving in Idaho who had a hard time trusting ministers generally. My predecessor there actually warned me about her. And it's not that she was unkind or ungenerous, but she was stoic and private and strong-willed and prone to butting heads with the minister. Maybe some of you might occasionally use some of those kinds of words to describe yourselves. Anyway, she and I actually got along great right from the start. We had a fabulous working relationship. We even planned a rally and demonstration together that drew the biggest crowd ever seen in that neck of the woods after the presidential election of 2016. We had about 4,000 people show up. So we had this amazing relationship. But I don't think she really saw me as her minister. A minister, the minister, but not her minister because she didn't need a minister. Until the day her husband of nearly 60 years went in for heart surgery. I asked if I could come and sit with her, and she said yes, maybe a little reluctantly. I mean, she had some friends who were going too, but I could come if I wanted, she guessed. And so I went. And we all sat around chatting and knitting. But as the hours passed by, you could feel the tension in the room building. The other women left so that they could get home before dark, and I asked again, "Is it okay if I stay?" And she said yes, and this time there was no reluctance. So I stayed. And we didn't actually talk much, because I find most often those moments when we really need a minister, there aren't really words to say that would be helpful anyway. So we sat, we knit until she couldn't knit anymore, until the tension in the room was too heavy to push against. And then when she stopped, I just held her hand. I held her hand while she waited. And then, well, the doctor came out and said terrifying words like friable tissue, like completely blocked and inoperable. I held her hand when some other words came that allowed the air in the room to become breathable again, stable for now, and recovery room. She went and visited her husband, and then I took her out and made sure she ate something and drank some water and dropped her off at the hotel. And she brings it up with some regularity, this moment, and how much it meant to her that I stayed. She says she doesn't know what she would have done if I hadn't been there. So on that day, after 7 years as the minister, she let me be her minister. And if I ever fail to be awed and humbled by that kind of trust, I promise I will step away from this profession and find something else to do. So that's the other thing you need to feel into this week. Do you think that eventually you could and would let me be your minister? And I can tell you right now, if you need me to be perfect or flawless, that answer is going to be a no. I am very human, and I make mistakes all the time. This is the kind of job where no one person can hold it all, can be all of the things to all of the people all of the time. So it's a guarantee that I will at some point let you down. But here's my promise. If you're brave enough to let me know that I've let you down, I will hear that, and I will hold that, and I will hold you, and I will do what I can to repair. I believe with Brené Brown that "you hurt my feelings" is the bravest sentence in the English language. And I welcome being held accountable as a gift, as an honor, as an opportunity to grow. And through that, you develop a different kind of trust, right? So trust that's built on illusions of perfection is brittle. Trust that grows as we practice vulnerability and repair has a strength and a suppleness that lasts. So one last little bit of wordplay. The word religion comes from re, meaning again, and ligare, meaning to connect or to bind. It's the same root word that you find in ligament. A religious community is one that brings people together again and again to create a greater whole. Like a murmuration of starlings or a school of fish, we weave our lives and our diverse theologies together, and we keep moving. We keep following the thread of yes. We keep listening for our call. Now, as an isolated I am powerless in the face of the challenges we face right now, but together, we create another possibility altogether. It is my fervent hope that a week from now, my I will become a part of your we, that our calls will meet and merge, and with joy as our North Star, we will protect and challenge and enjoy each other. We'll learn from and look out for each and every person that comes through the doors. We'll answer the call of love, and together we'll make our way to that world that is worthy of our children. So be it. and so may it be. Our closing hymn is number 1014, Answering the Call of Love. If you're looking at the actual hymnal instead of the words on the screen, you'll notice that the words have been changed. That's at the request of the composer. So every time you see Standing on the Side of Love, he's asked us to sing Answering the Call of Love. I invite you to rise now in body or in spirit. Of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide. Do we have the words this time to embody our chalice flame? Yes. Please join me in saying the words to embody our chalice flame. We extinguish this chalice that it might glow gently in our hearts. May it light our path as we leave this place. May it guide our way until we are together again. You know, these are not easy times to be human. There's a lot of chaos and pain and pushback against this vision of a world that we have carried for generations, a world where everybody is free and supported and becoming the fullness of who they're meant to be in this world, right? I honestly believe, that this is the last big push, that this is resistance to what is inevitable, which is a world built on love and justice with peace and compassion at the center. And if you believe with me, we'll do all we can to push toward that goal together. Go in peace. Come back next Sunday.